Hi, and welcome back to my channel. If you're like me, you have a ton of stamps, and today I'm going to do a quick tutorial on how you can use all of those stamps. So stay tuned. So if you're not new to my channel, then you've definitely seen me do this process before. If you are new to my channel, then hopefully this will serve as some inspiration for you. When I buy a paper pack, I very rarely use the sticker sheet or buy paper packs that have stickers. I like to make my own embellishments because I am a scrapbooker and I'm just not really fond of stickers sometimes. What I decided to do is I'm working on a project of a really neat little set that I'll have a video of that coming out in a couple of days. But in the meantime, I thought I would show you the process of how I use my stamps to get all of my embellishments ready for me to do that project. The first thing I do is I go through all of my stamps and I pull all of the ones depending on the theme. So for example, I'm going to be repurposing this wedding paper into something really cute. So what I want to do is I don't want to use any sentiments, I just want to use florals. So I went through all of my stamps and I chose any of the stamps that were solid and that had really pretty flowers, leaves, and in this case I actually chose the butterflies too. So I chose these two butterflies and this leaf, and I think this leaf as well. So I went through and I pulled all of my stamps. I like these a lot. I think they will be really pretty, and actually I'm using this one too. Here I like any different kinds of leaf pattern. Again, I want solids. I chose this heart. You can't really see, it's almost solid. And then I have, I would tend to use this one too because it has a solid heart, maybe a solid star. And this one, now this one is the two-part stamps where you shade it, but it still wasn't dark enough for me. So you can see I went ahead and took the ink and then I used my blending brush and filled it in so I would have a darker shade. So basically I chose, I think there's roughly 11 stamps. I don't use all of the stamps, but I do use at least one element from each of the stamps. The next step in the process is I grab my paper pack and I go through my inks and I choose inks that I think will go well with the paper. I don't always match it completely. Sometimes I try to go a shade darker or a shade lighter. I chose different varieties of tans, some grays, kind of it almost looks like a green, and then several different shades of pink. And then of course the black. I definitely want to have things that are black as well. So I've chose all my inks and I have my stamps, and then I start stamping everything out. I normally take one large piece of paper or all of my little pieces of white paper scraps and I lay it out, and here's some examples, and then I just stamp. I stamp them on the pieces of paper, my scrap pieces of paper. I stamp them all out. And then afterwards, I'll begin to fussy cut, or if I have the die, I will actually use the die to cut them out. But I love to fussy cut. Once I fussy cut everything out, I have this little tray. It's a refrigerator bin that I picked up at TJ Maxx. Actually, I might have picked this one up at Marshall's. And I just begin to separate them. So, for example, the leaves, I don't just stamp a leaf in green. I will also stamp it in a tan, even a pink, sometimes a black. These leaves here, good example. I've stamped these little leaf sprigs in the green, the gray, the mulberry, some black. Then I like to have the little bitty ones so that I can tuck them in all the little empty spaces. And once I think I have enough embellishments, I will go ahead and grab my project. And for example, I want to decorate a card. And I haven't put the card together, but I have the card face, and I'm probably going to use this piece of paper to make a band, and I'll trim that off. And then I'll start using my embellishments to kind of build my clusters, depending on what I need. Sometimes I'll lay a few out. It might be nice to have a little black butterfly there. And then of course we're gonna want some larger ones here, or littler ones. And then I'll just keep playing with the colors until I decide which ones look the best, and I'll just build my embellishments. And because this particular project doesn't allow me to have any dimension, I will keep these embellishments flat. So we'll just continue to play around with it and seeing which one looks the best. And for example, if I notice that I don't have enough of a color, or I have a color at the top and I want to match it across, because you know we do our rule of 3, I'll just keep building and building until I'm happy with it. So once you have your embellishment cluster the way that you want it, which I don't, but just in case, say that you did, if you will take a piece of this Glad press and seal. So basically, what I like to do is I'll just go ahead and I'll use the Glad press and seal, so then I can pick it up and my cluster stays together. Well, almost always stays together. Sometimes you might have to just adjust it just a tad. And that is going to go right down here. And then that way you don't mess up your cluster. And then the next thing what I do is I will go ahead and put some glue on this side. And then I gently turn it over and place it back on my card. And then I'll slowly remove the press and seal. Now occasionally the elements that were on the very top might stay on the press and seal, but when there's only 1 or 2 elements, it's easy just to put them right back where you had them, and you can remember that way. Okay, so that's it. I hope you enjoyed this little tutorial, and hopefully this inspired you to use as many stamps as you can to build your flower clusters or whatever other cluster that you want to make for your project. Thanks. Have a good day.